Black History Week, amen? As long as we're here, we're going to keep that tradition alive, even though in America there seems to be this tendency to want to erase us from the history books. So we'll take a couple of minutes and deal with that today. So this week in Black History, all the way back in 1832. This woman is spectacular. Her name is Maria Stewart. You may not know her, but she is the first known American woman of any race to deliver a speech in public to a public audience in the United States. She later became the first Black American woman to publish a political manifesto. Her teachings on Black oppression and women's rights inspired all kinds of activists who were central to the abolitionist movement, including Sojourner Truth and Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. That is Maria. How many knew who she was? That's the first woman to ever speak publicly in America at all. Now, I hear the rain, and I hear the thunder. I was raised by my grandma and grandpa, and she said, boy, when God is doing his business, sit down. But I gotta work, God, and I'm working for you. So it is what it is. We're gonna keep going. This week in Black History, in 1892, a mob was angered by Ida B. Wells. Her anti-lynching editorials in the newspaper, she started the free speech in the headlight. They were so mad at her, they destroyed her office in Memphis, Tennessee, burned it to the ground. They were going to kill her, but she was out of town speaking somewhere else. And so then she relocated where? Chicago, Illinois. This woman is fantastic. Ida B. Wells was an investigative journalist. She wasn't trained in that initially, but 3 of her friends who were business owners were murdered. And she wrote about it. And she kept writing about it. She was an educator. She was also a founding member of the NAACP. But they kicked her out. They forced her out because she was a woman that told everything. And they said, you can't say everything. She said, yes, I can. Everything that happens, I'm going to say. So they forced her out of NAACP. But we need more people, men and women, like Ida B. Wells, that will say everything and will talk about everything. Also, this week in Black History, speaking of Memorial Day weekend, in 1930, Black families of fallen World War I veterans were forced to travel separately from their white counterparts, ill mourners, on a State Department trip to visit their loved ones' graves in Washington, D.C. And even though it was their Memorial Day weekend, blacks weren't allowed to travel in the same quarters as the other parents were, even though they were all mourning. And so it's important that we understand that these things happen once, they can't happen again. So we need to be aware of what's happening around us. Amen?